Good evening, and welcome to the 716 Playbook, where every play counts. You know, when I start each show, I always kind of panic and try to make sure that my mic is on and everything looks okay on the screens. And I spend, I don't know, maybe around an hour and a half prepping before the show when I get home from work, making sure that everything is right. The lighting, the camera, the notes, the software, the connectivity. And you know what? It's just really great when everything falls in line. And when it doesn't, trying to find the good in the bad. I appreciate you all for tuning in. Is this your first time tuning in? I appreciate you coming on and giving this a try. I hope you stay. And if this is not your first time, if you are a reoccurring viewer, I appreciate you staying and sticking along. As always, make sure that you follow the accounts down below. We are on so many platforms. If you go to any of those platforms down below, you will find a link in the bio. If you click that link in the bio, you will be able to see us on all of the other platforms. It'll just bring links right to those other places. Make sure you follow, make sure you like, and as always, make sure that you turn on bell notifications so every time I go live, every time I post, you are alerted. And also, during the show, make sure that you are commenting. It is so important that you guys are engaging with me as I talk and go along. If you have questions, if you don't think that I am correct, even if you have a question that is off topic, make sure that you plug it in there. Even if we're on the Bills segment and you came in late and you want to know what's going on with the Sabres, just tune in and plug something. I will make sure to get to every single comment that I possibly can. On top of that, if you're watching this afterwards, I don't want to hurt you or hurt your engagement with the show. So again, if you are watching this in a recording, it should not hinder you from commenting. Make sure you comment, and I will make sure to talk about it in the next episode. As always, we go live every Tuesday at 7 p.m. for about an hour. Obviously, right now we are in a little bit of a weird, wonky time period where we don't have so much going on. So most of these episodes, until the start of the fall, will probably be relatively shorter. But once the fall comes up and the end of summer and we kind of get over that little hump, we will then start talking about the Buffalo Bills a lot more as they get ready for their next season. But we do have a lot to talk about because OTAs are still continuing. And on top of all that, the Bandits are celebrating. The Sabres are fairly quiet. And Stephon Diggs is making a lot of drama, but at least it's not on the Bills anymore. So that is always a plus. And again, I appreciate you all coming on. You guys can leave and hop back on or do whatever you need to do. Please don't think you need to come and listen to me for the next hour. So appreciate you all tuning in, and I hope you guys enjoy the show. Now, look, we are going to start the first topic off with the Bandits. All right, so the Buffalo Bandits, no news. We are coming off of a NLL championship 3 consecutive times and 7 times in franchise history. So, again, there's no news or roster changes or anything going on. The season just ended. We just hosted a parade in downtown Buffalo on Friday night. It was pretty cool to get to see all these people coming out and celebrating and partying and just enjoying the 3 consecutive winning seasons that we've had. So, pretty cool. And also on top of all that, the NLL is growing at such a full capacity that the Bandits are drawing in more people live, more people in person than the Buffalo Sabres are. That should worry a lot of people. If you're an NHL, if you're a Sabres fan, that should really worry you because that just means that just kind of points to you where the Sabres are, to the point where the lacrosse team is doing better with viewership. But on top of that, it shows you that people are gaining more interest in lacrosse. I'm going to be honest with you. Did not grow up loving lacrosse. My dad did. My dad, growing up, was a little bit more knowledgeable when it came to lacrosse. And growing up in Buffalo for the first couple of years of my life, obviously the Bandits are a huge part of Buffalo. They have been for some time. But outside of Buffalo, lacrosse isn't massive. Well, now it's growing. And it's growing so much that it's now on ESPN shows like Pat McAfee, who can't get enough of it, can't stop talking about it. And he's got guys on like Chase Frazier to talk about some amazing unfathomable, just out of this world shots that he's been able to do. Chase Frazier is getting his name out there for being that guy when it comes to the weirdest, hardest shots in the NLL. He's doing behind the back looks and just insane things over the shoulder. No looks, just right over the shoulder and in. It's been really cool to get to see that on your team and not have to go up against it. But yeah, so that's a really cool thing that somebody like Pat McAfee, who has a show on ESPN, is hosting NLL guys and really getting a lot of publicity for the league. So some exciting things. You know, the more viewership, the more money, which means the more expansion, the more exciting that it'll get. So obviously the NBA, the NFL, they didn't start off massive. They started off small. They got viewership, they got more money, and they were able to expand, got more competitive. There's like, I want to say 11 teams, maybe more. I want 11 or 14. I don't know the exact number, but there's less than 15 teams in the NLL right now. So as more money kind of comes in with viewership and attendance, that means there'll be more opportunities for more teams to come along and make it more competitive. So very exciting time for the NLL. But on top of that, there really isn't much to talk about. Parade was awesome, like I said, and just getting to celebrate the Buffalo Bandits and their 3 consecutive championships. All right, so we're going to move on to the Buffalo Sabres now. This team is quiet as a mouse as well. There aren't as many massive changes happening to the actual team, but there are some changes to the upper management. But before we get to that, we're going to talk about Tage Thompson, who I said last week. If you don't know, Team USA was in the World Championship against Switzerland. It went to overtime. The score was 0-0, and Tage Thompson with the golden goal to win the game and help Team USA win the World Championship for the first time in 92 years. That was all Tage Thompson, a Buffalo Sabres player. Tage Thompson then got to go to a paraplegic league. It's the ice hockey league for paraplegic people. And he got to drop the puck in the semifinals for Team USA versus Team China. So that was really cool to get to do like the ceremonial dropping of the puck. And he got to do that because of his accomplishment in that Team USA game where they won against Switzerland in the World Championship. I'm going to just say that because I wanted to say it all because that's a huge accomplishment. And the fact that he gets to rep Buffalo is just amazing. And I really hope that Kevin Adams can do one thing correct and just keep him in Buffalo and keep him happy. He's young, he's expendable, and he's great. And he's so valuable. He leads our team. At this point, just keep developing him because he's only going to get better. Now, with that being said, our GM, Kevin Adams, did add a new special advisor to help him oversee the entire organization and advise him on decisions. His name, who I'm going to 110% get wrong, Jarmo I'm not even going to try to say his last Kakalianian. I don't think I said that right. You can go see who the new special advisor is for our GM, and if you want to try to say that name, you can you're more than happy to go and try to see how to spell that. Anyway, he was the GM for the Columbus Blue Jackets for more than a decade, and he oversaw the most successful stretch in that organization while he was overseeing them as general manager. He also was a very impressive scout for Ottawa and St. Louis. And on top of all that, he was also the assistant GM for Finland in 2014 and 2016. So he's got GM experience, scouting experience, and international and European league experience. So, again, he is very good at recognizing talent, and that's something that Kevin Adams definitely needs some advice on. The Stanley Cups, some NHL news for you guys. The Stanley Cups begin tomorrow. That is the championship for the NHL. It's going to be the Florida Panthers versus the Edmonton Oilers. Game 1 will be in Edmonton tomorrow, Wednesday, June 4th at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. On top of all that, the NHL draft. Wow, so many leagues. NLL, NHL, NFL. The NHL draft will be June 27th and 28th. Just a little bit of a reminder, the Buffalo Sabres do have the 9th pick, and it will be... as of right now, they still have it. They're not going to trade it away. There's a lot of news about them potentially trading trading it away, seeing what they could get out of it. But I think they're going to keep it. And some even more exciting things for Buffalo to come is in honor of Highmark Stadium and them building a new stadium. NHL night, the Buffalo Sabres are going to have their draft room at One Bills Drive, which is the current stadium for their last season. So their draft room will be built inside of the stadium in Orchard Park. So that's pretty cool. Just kind of as like a last little hurrah for the Buffalo team to get to recognize that stadium and what it's meant for how many years for the Buffalo Bills, and just kind of some cross-league sports love right there for the city of Buffalo, and just a pretty cool thing for the Sabres to get to do. So on NHL night, June 27th, 28th, the Buffalo Sabres and their upper management will be in the Buffalo Bills Stadium. They will build a draft room inside of the Bills Stadium for draft night. Some pretty cool, exciting news also for the city of Buffalo. The 2025 Rivalry Series is coming to KeyBank Center in Buffalo. The Rivalry Series is how do I explain it? It's kind of a bunch of teams that are rivals with each other. It's very self-explanatory, but it's for the NHL and for hockey. So the women's Team USA versus the women's Team Canada will be facing each other in KeyBank Center in Buffalo starting November 8th. Tickets are on sale this Thursday, June 5th at 10 a.m. Again, it's a little thing. It's not it's connected to the NHL, but it's not like it's an attachment to the NHL. But it's a pretty cool to be able to for the city of Buffalo to get recognized and for them to choose Buffalo as a place for where Team USA versus Team Canada will be playing each other for the 2025 Rivalry Series. And then lastly, going back to the Buffalo Sabres real quick, Jason Karmanos, who is the assistant GM for the Buffalo Sabres, and he's also the head GM to the Amerks. He spoke last week. He got up in front of the media and he said, hey, I'm not on social media, but my daughter brought this to my attention. Apparently there's a rumor going around that my future with the Sabres is unknown. And he kind of put that all to bed and said, there's no change. I'm here. I'm on contract. And as of right now, the rumor is false. Unless there's something that we, the public, know that he doesn't, it's not true. And I'm going to take his word for it. I don't really see at this point why he would leave. If anything, our GM should go. And if he's going to leave, our GM definitely should go with him. The whole upper management needs to be uprooted and rebuilt. And they're kind of slowly doing that with new special advisors and special building positions and getting other people in the door to kind of help the upper management team make better decisions in this future season. But again, there's so many rumors flying out about upper management and this and that and what's going on. It's all hearsay. So, again, he kind of just put that to bed and said, I'm not going anywhere. Assistant GM for the Buffalo Sabres and the head GM for the Amerks staying. He's not going anywhere. I say that, and then tomorrow there's going to be headline news. Anyway, that's fine. Please prove me wrong. We're going to now transition into obviously the amuse-bouche, the main course. I don't think the amuse-bouche is correct terminology. We're going to move into the main course of the night, the Buffalo Bills. Before we do, we have two things. First, this is completely off topic. It has nothing to do with the city of Buffalo, but just some major sports news. Tom Thibodeau, head coach for the New York Knicks. It's an NBA team. A little small NBA team. Just got knocked out of the playoffs in the Eastern Conference Finals against the Indiana Pacers. They lost 4-2 in that series. So their head coach for the Knicks, Tom Thibodeau, who's been with them since 2020, has been fired from the Knicks. In a stunning, shocking move today, the owner himself for the New York Knicks fired the head coach, Tom Thibodeau. I didn't read too much into the decision. It didn't seem like, as of now, the Knicks kind of gave a real response or who's going to take the place. But as of right now, I'm assuming that they're probably making that known pretty quickly about who the interim head coach will be, who will step up and take his place. But just some pretty interesting news. Obviously, we're in the off season now for the Knicks, so they have some time to find their new coach before preseason starts and everything. But I thought that was some interesting news for everybody. So, yes, Tom Thibodeau has been fired from the New York Knicks. Now, here's your food for thought before we get into the Bill segment. The Miami Dolphins have not had a playoff win in 24 years. It has been since 2000 that the Miami Dolphins have had a playoff win. That's really sad. Very, very sad. So when Miami Dolphins fans come at me because we have no rings, I can just say, well, you haven't even seen a playoff win in your lifetime. So anyway, it's fine. But you know what? You can continue to put all your trust in Tua, who should have definitely retired last season, who is injury prone, who has had multiple concussions, who will probably get another concussion, who's sacrificing his body over his family, who has a lot of money guaranteed in his contract, could retire and set his family up for success for the rest of his life, invest his money, make it all well, and never have to spend another snap in the NFL. And yet he is going to put his body at risk and put his children at risk of not having a father. But anyway, there's my little rant about the Miami Dolphins, because I think keeping Tua is a drastic mistake, and I think that the NFL is doing a disservice to Tua, because I'm not even going to blame Tua here, because every NFL player has so much pride, and they really, really, really want to play. They want to play for the team, for the city that they're in currently. Most of them do, at least. And I don't put a lot onto it. He's been born an athlete. He is a great athlete. But the NFL should step in and say, dude, you've had so many injuries. You have had multiple concussions. That is not anything to mess around with. And you are one or two away from really seriously injuring your body for life. Impacting the lives of your family, having 3 children, a pregnant wife. There's just so much that goes into that. And the NFL said the Miami Dolphins though would have nobody, and it'd be a losing franchise, and we don't want that. So Miami's an up and coming investment team, and they want to keep it that way. And I completely argue with that, and I don't like that. But here we are, and I'm just a guy currently sitting in a studio propped up in his own bedroom talking about the Buffalo Bills. So what do I know when it comes to making decisions for the betterment of other people, especially athletes in the NFL? I'm just a bystander watching this all happen, and I will mark my words, he will probably get hurt again. It's not something that I'm wishing. It's not something that I want. It's something that is a really tough, harsh reality, and I don't think Tua is big enough. I don't think he is big enough to come to the conclusion on his own. And again, the NFL is doing a disservice by allowing him to continue to play in the NFL. Anyway, that's my little rant for the day. Now let's get into the Buffalo Bills, because it's some exciting news. We are currently 96 days until Sunday Night Football. I'm going to say that one more time. 96 days until Sunday Night Football. In 96 days and 1 hour exactly, at 8:20 p.m. Eastern Time on September 7th, the Buffalo Bills are going to be hosting the Baltimore Ravens, obviously at home, for the first and last Week 1 home opener in the current stadium. And it's going to be glorious, and it's going to be awesome, and I can't wait. And I am fighting with everything in my life, in my bank account, to make sure that I am there. We'll see how that goes. Anyway, so yeah, that's pretty exciting stuff. Also, something that nobody wants to talk about. The official grand opening for the new Bills Stadium was supposed to be July 2026. It is now pushed back to December of 2026. Does that mean that the Bills won't be able to play next year in their new stadium? No. They're still going to play next year in the new stadium. It just means that it will not be officially constructed until December, which means that they're going to have to move probably some stuff around to make sure that they can get the stadium and the public access all complete before it's open to the public. But then they can still do probably cosmetic work and probably build some offices and do some other stuff, locker room, anything else, and kind of keep that until during the season. That honestly isn't like a necessity, but it's something that obviously that you would want in the stadium. So anyway, but the official grand opening is now December 2026. So just giving that a heads up. If anybody did not know that, that is something that was brought to my attention that I don't see anywhere online. Nobody in the media is talking about it. Maybe I missed it. Maybe that's like old news. But anyway, just want to give you guys a heads up. Grand opening is not until December 2026. But yes, the Buffalo Bills will be playing next year in the new stadium. There were some promotions and additions to the personnel, analytics, and medical staff. The Buffalo Bills posted like a massive list of people. I'm not going to go through it all, but there's just some cool promotions and additions to that. So make sure you go out and check it out. Again, the Buffalo Bills are so much more than the 53-man roster. Okay, there's so much more to it, and there's so much people that are devoting their lives to making sure that the betterment of the team, the building, everything from construction to health, to personnel, to analytics, everything goes into making sure we have a successful season. So those promotions and additions, those people, those names, they matter too. They may not matter to the same as Josh Allen, but they still matter. Tracy McGrady and Vince Carter, if you don't know, they are now minority owners for the Buffalo Bills. They bought small little stakes in the team, and they have been so present. They've been around. They've been at OTAs. They're going to be at training camp. They're going to be at mandatory minicamp. They have been in front of media talking. They've been present with athletes and helping. They are so much more than just an investment. They are investing in players. And I think that's really cool. And they said publicly that they want to be a helping guide. They don't just want to be like minority owners that don't, like, again, like the analogy, you don't see Bill Maher, the comedian for HBO. You don't see him who has a minority stake in the Mets. You don't see him like at every Mets training camp or practice. I don't know for sure, but I don't think he's like really ever at any of those events or talking about the team. It's, again, an investment for him. He might enjoy the team. He might enjoy going every once in a while, but I don't think he's invested like they are. And again, that's nothing against Bill Maher, but that's something really cool for Tracy McGrady and Vince Carter to be able to do that, because they have been athletes and they know exactly how to help condition. They know how to consult. They just know the athletic world. So it's pretty cool to get to see them like on the ground helping. Also, massive news, massive, biggest news. Who cares about OTAs? Who cares about anything else in the NFL? Josh Allen, the GOAT, the MVP, our quarterback one, our helping hands to get us to the promised land and make sure that we have a Lombardi trophy. He's our only hope. He got married. Josh Allen is married. He was married over the weekend. There are so many people in attendance to his wedding with Haley Steinfeld. Larry David being one of them. Larry David, yes. If you're thinking about that old white man with the white hair and the bald, yes, that's exactly who was at their wedding. Last person I would have thought. But Larry David apparently knows Haley Steinfeld's uncle somehow. Anyway, there's a relation, and Larry David was there on top of so many other people, so many former Bills players. Gabe Davis was in attendance. So many current Bills players. Sean McDermott. It was so cool and just exciting time for him. All right, now I got that out of the way. OTAs. Here's the schedule. Here's the breaking down. OTAs was May 27th, 28th, 29th, and then also June 2nd, June 3rd, which was today, and then June 5th. And on top of all that, there's also going to be mandatory minicamps starting next week, June 10th, 11th, 12th, which means that guys have to be there. It's not an if, and, or but situation. And then training camp, St. John Fisher University, again, where it's almost always at least for so many past seasons. Training camp will be at St. John Fisher University. It's going to start officially. The first day open to the public will be July 24th, but they'll probably be there a couple days before getting ready and doing some other behind-the-scenes work. But July 24th is the official first day open to the public for training camp. So exciting times. Anyways, we are continuing the OTAs. Last week we talked about them because they had them last week on the May 27th, 28th, 29th. Now, June 2nd, which was yesterday, and June 3rd today, and then they're going to have them again on Thursday for more OTAs, which again is just involuntary practice, pretty much. It's training activities. No Josh Allen, which was obvious because Josh Allen is currently on his honeymoon. He just got married. Props to him. It's a very exciting time for him, and nobody expected him to be there. I will say this, though. Josh Allen made sure to be there and was present last week for OTAs, even though he had so much wedding prep to do in California on the opposite side of the country. He made sure to be a leader and was there, and I think that's amazing. Obviously, I don't fault him for not being there this week. He's got a lot. He's got a new wife, and he's probably got a lot of planning to do, and his honeymoon. So pretty cool there. On top of that, now that Josh Allen is married, there was no James Cook. James Cook's not going to be there today. He's probably going to be there on Thursday. We'll see what happens. But James Cook trying to hold out for this contract. Brandon Beane's already admitted that it's not going to happen this offseason. He's going to have to play his heart out and prove to him why we should give him $15 to $20 million. If you agree, cool. If you disagree, cool. I think the way that he's handling it is not professional. He said he doesn't want this to interfere with the team, but this clearly is because you're not improving. You're not practicing with the team. You're not showing up when it matters. You're not being a leader on the team. You're definitely not going to be captain this year, pal. And you're kind of ruining your own legacy for yourself right now. On top of those two guys that aren't there, Cam Lewis and Joey Bosa were not there either. But again, are expected to be there in the mandatory minicamps next week. Not having Josh Allen, very obvious right away today and yesterday. The offense was limited. It looked very different. The other quarterbacks that were throwing balls were not getting rid of the ball quick enough, and they were allowing the pass rush to get so close to them before they were able to move. Obviously, not having Josh Allen, the quickness, the ability, the adaptiveness, being able to oversee the defensive line and move out of the way quickly just wasn't there, wasn't present. And there's a clear difference between Josh Allen and our backup quarterbacks. Just saying. And that's probably not that's not a shocking thing for anybody. Balin Spector, DeMar Hamlin, and Spencer Brown all stood on the sideline today. They were there, but they could not practice. Hamlin and Brown both came out later than everybody else. Don't know really what's going on there, but I do know that they're both coming and it makes sense. They're both kind of recovering from just minor injuries and bumps and whatever. So on top of all that, Taron Johnson also wore a red non-contact jersey. He participated fully, but he came forward today and said that he admitted that last season, which we all believe was during the playoff Ravens game, he tore his labrum, which is it's a labrum. It's in your shoulder. He tore it. So he did get it repaired in the offseason as soon as the season ended. He got it repaired. He did participate fully, but he is wearing a red non-contact jersey. Another kind of an injury, bump as well, as wide receiver Josh Palmer left the practice field with an apparent injury during today's OTA. Palmer was going through individual drills, and he exited into the field house with trainers after. I read online it seemed like a lower body injury. He returned to the practice field during team drills, but did not return to participation. He was flexing in his lower body, leg area, when he returned. Didn't appear to be too serious. He went to he talked to media after OTAs today, and nobody even questioned him about it. And I watched the whole video. Sal Capaccio, a really cool guy, one of the guys in the media team, and he didn't even ask him about it. And Josh seemed completely fine. So I'm not really sure what's going on there, but just something to kind of keep an eye out. But just obviously, I'm going to say this: it is. Anytime you have guys that are competing, especially in training camp, and it's involuntary, and they're trying to prove their heart out, especially new guys, you're going to see bumps and bruises and scrapes and whatever. I don't love it. I don't like that Joey Bosa is going to be out for a majority of this time. I don't like that Josh Palmer hurt himself. I don't appreciate that a lot of new guys are hurting themselves, but it happens, especially when they're on new teams. They're getting used to everybody. They don't know who to look out for, who's going to go their hardest, who's going to lay off too much. You don't know anything yet. And so it does happen sometimes. Obviously, it's not something it's not ideal, but it is the situation that we're in. So Elijah Moore said today, and again, I'm going to abbreviate. This is a kid-friendly, family-friendly show. I'm not going to go, start swearing right now. That's just that is just the take on the show. I try everything I can possibly to limit anything when it comes to language and just being respectful. But I'm going to quote Elijah Moore, and I'm just going to like abbreviate a couple words, but this is what he said. I know what I can do. I work my butt off every single offseason. I work my butt off every single season. I know I'm the type of player that's going to show it. In my opinion, Elijah Moore is going to be the most dominant player right outside of Khalil Shakir next season. I think he's going to be utilized way more than people think. Think about it. 2 years on the Jets and then 2 years on the Browns. He'd never had a good quarterback to throw him the ball. He finally has a good quarterback to throw him the ball. He's got the MVP to throw him the ball. I think Elijah Moore is going to open up this year, and he's going to have a record career season, in my opinion. That's my opinion. Dane Jackson spoke very highly about Maxwell Hairston today. Dane Jackson, a former quarterback for the Buffalo Bills who just rejoined this offseason. He said, and I quote, "He's doing his thing. I don't want to say too much, but he had a great play yesterday. He's doing a great job." They're trying to, like, especially with the cornerbacks, they're like very like playing their cards here. Like they don't want to show anything. And I caught that multiple times in the last 2 weeks between management and players. What they're saying about these guys, it's so vague, so vague. And like, yes, at times that happens. But, like, the way that they're wording things and they're dancing around questions makes me think that, like, they're all season, they're going to play a very Andy Reid type of style. We're not going to show any of our cards until the playoffs. We can get there. We know we can get to the playoffs. Once we get to the playoffs, then it starts. And I'm all for that. I'm completely on board for that. I think I've been on board for that since, 3 or 4 seasons ago when I realized it wasn't working. I like it. I like it a lot. I appreciate not knowing because I'd rather be more shocked when I see it. I don't want to know all the cards. I don't want to know everything that they're doing. But I do appreciate the little bits that they are telling me. Trey White also spoke very highly about Maxwell Hairston. He said, and I quote, "The guy has abilities that most guys don't have. You mix that with all the coaching we have here and all the resources to be successful, it's going to come. It's only a matter of time before he's one of the best corners in the league." Just want to brace you real quick. That's great. I'm very excited. Again, Trey White, former cornerback who is now current cornerback for the Buffalo Bills, who left the team and came back. Again, somebody who knows the organization, knows the wants, knows what the Bills need, especially on the cornerback side, on the secondary, who knows exactly how to help the D-line, who can support the D-line. He knows exactly what's needed. He knows who can step up, and he knows the Bills. He knows what he's saying. So I trust him, but this is what I'm going to say. There's a caveat to that, all right? I love Trey White, love and appreciate that he's given so much love to the rookie. I have a problem, though, with trusting because this is the same thing we heard about Kaiir Elam. Kaiir Elam is great. Kaiir Elam is great. Kaiir Elam is great. He was a first-round pick 2 years ago. He was great. He was great. He was great. He was awful. He was garbage. Played garbage ball. Don't believe me? Go watch that Kansas City playoff game. Garbage ball. One of the worst cornerbacks I've ever seen actually get to touch grass and continue to touch grass in a playoff game. It was I blame coaching more than I blame Kaiir Elam because after 3 plays, I would have said, "Kaiir, get out of here. Don't even stay on the bench. Just go home." Like, I was in the entire game. Like, and then he went out before halftime. After halftime, I remember looking at everybody and going, "Well, it's fine." Like after, to start the second half, we're going to see a completely different cornerback out there, right? No, they just continue to play Kaiir Elam. So again, they had so much faith and trust in Kaiir Elam. They spoke so highly of him when he first came on the team. He was like this up and coming kid who thought he was great. He was projected so well. We got him for like a 6th-round pick. Let's see what he does with Dallas. I don't know. Anyway, that's my little caveat. That's my little thing right there. Take it or leave it. That's your opinion. But again, if you don't agree with me, again, comment down below. Make sure that you guys are engaging. Because I just feel like I'm not crazy for thinking that Maxwell Hairston, for being hesitant on a round 1 cornerback. But anyway, that's okay. So we're going to now go into Bobby Babich. He's our defensive coordinator. We're going to talk a little bit about his press conference today. Then we're going to go into the offensive coordinator. Then we're going to wrap it up with what the special teams coordinator said. And then we're going to wrap up the show. So I give it another 15 minutes. Bear with me, guys. There is a lot of cool things coming ahead. So I'm going to I do have some NFL news too to talk about. So I will make sure to do this fairly quickly, but make sure that you guys understand what's going on and get the gist. Bobby Babich said that Deion Walker does things at his size you don't expect guys to be able to do. Very open-ended again. Very vague, very watered down. Perfect. Great to be around Tre'Davious. His energy is infectious, and his work ethic is second to none. Yeah, I agree. I think Tre'Davious White was a great addition. He's a great vet. He knows the organization. He knows the plays. He's not going to be the guy that's supposed to add the best depth, but he's somebody who can develop the younger guys, and I love that. Brandon and Sean target the right people to be here, and that's where it starts. Said Trey White and Dane Jackson help each other and the entire CB room. They are Bills-type players. He's correct. He's very correct in saying that as well. I think this was, in my opinion, the best draft in a while. And it will be. I've also, the energy and what I've been able to see from Landon Jackson, from this D-line, from Maxwell, there's a lot of, I'm not, after I just ranted about Kyrie Elam and about being safe, I am going to say I'm very optimistic. I'm very hopeful. I'm just weary. And I'm respectfully weary. It's not like I don't trust you. I mean, maybe a little bit. But it's more about I want to make sure that I'm not putting all my eggs into this basket and then halfway through the season say, yeah, we need a change. Last thing I want is to get halfway through the season and then hear, we need a vet. We need a better guy. We need a guy who knows what he's doing out there. I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that. That's the last thing I want to hear. Man, my hair is just not sticking with me. You know, before every show, I just yell at it. And I just say, can you just bear with me for hour and a half, please? And then it doesn't. And by the end of the day, it's just, anyway, it's fine. A little side piece about my hair. Bobby Babich talked about Michael Hort today. He said that they looked at him for multiple years and tried to envision in own mind the way and role he can be used. Again, very watered down, but okay. They, again, signed him for multiple years. They want to keep him for multiple years, and they want to develop him in a certain way that can especially... Everything with Bobby Babich this morning was, this guy is going to play a unique role. This guy is going to play a unique role. This guy is going to play a unique role. This guy, can you guess it, is going to play a unique role. It was I think this year is a lot more mapping out and planning. Last year was I need to figure out what I'm doing. He's a true professional, mature beyond his years. He's a big human. That's him talking about Landon Jackson. Again, Landon Jackson, I've watched interviews from that guy. He just he gives me Lex Luthor vibes, but not because he's bald. He gives me Lex Luthor vibes because he there's just a charisma and an intelligence about him. He is super mature. He could be running a multi-billion-dollar company if he wanted to. I could see it. I could see him in a suit. Just as well as he can whip footballs out of people's hands, he could be conning the little guy out of money. I don't know. But anyway, I think I like Landon Jackson on and off the field. I like him in interviews. If that's how he's going to be in front of the public, I will love that for our locker room. Bobby Babich said that he went through a lot of first-time things last year, and it really helped him prepare for going through those things in the second year, as well as knowing there will always be first-time things. Again, like I just said, Bobby Babich was figuring it out last year. He's now got it, and he's more prepared. What needs to improve, he mentioned overall consistency to approach each week. Said it starts with himself to make sure he's consistent each week. I agree with that. Making a new plan each week, making sure that there's uniqueness each week, but making sure that the defense is consistent week in and week out. I'm passionate about that. I'm going to say that very strongly because, and this is why. Your approach to each team should be unique. But there's a consistent level that you need to meet that lacked last season. One week, like against the Seahawks, you would see a massive overhaul of the defense. I mean, just a dominance. And then the next week, it was like it was a completely different defense. Ed Oliver, the most inconsistent player, the Halliburton of the NFL. Ed Oliver was so inconsistent last year, and he even admitted it. He said, "Yeah, there's I don't know what to tell you. There's weeks where I just don't perform." Yeah, you're right, but don't expect for our team not to draft D linemen in order to help perform, and maybe that means you're not going to play as much. I'm very passionate about our D-line because our D-line is so inconsistent. So inconsistent. You go from a defense against the Ravens to a defense against the Kansas City Chiefs, and it was a completely different game on both sides of the ball. But the defense lacked so badly. I watched a massive overhaul man defense just play with Lamar Jackson. Played with him. In that second half, it was like playing with a kid. I mean, they were just ripping that O-line to pieces. Stopping Derrick Henry, a powerhouse who ran 88 yards against the Bills, against that same defense. In week 4. You go from that in week 4 to dominating to then the next game just crumbling. The consistency has to change. It doesn't need to change. It has to. It has to. I got a hello in the chat. I appreciate that. Hi. Just got done my passionate rant. Now I'm all hot and sweaty, and I'm all worked up. All right. At every position, we need to stay healthy and be available. The more we can be available, the better off we'll be. Correct. You also need to make sure that there's depth. He spoke about Joey Bosa's injury and missing OTAs. We're not going to flinch. When Joey Bosa is available, he's available. I said this last week. I don't care if he's not available for training camp. I don't care if he's not available in September, October, November, December. He better be available in January and February. Period. Exo facto. He is the Patrick Mahomes stopper. You don't play him if you don't have to. Keep him healthy. Keep him happy. Just let him cook against Kansas City. That's it. He does so well against Patrick Mahomes and that O-line for Kansas City, which is only getting worse. So, he talked about the safety position. I think Taylor Rapp had a very good year. 3 interceptions, a really good number. He's tackled really well, really, really well. He said DeMar had a good year, his best as a pro. The jump from Cole has been really good so far. Cole Bishop, who was a rookie last year, has made drastic steps apparently in this offseason. It's the comfortability of what we're doing. You see him take more control. He didn't play in training camp. Those were valuable reps. Cole Bishop did not play in training camp, and that did hurt him. So being able to be out there this offseason with all the guys, I think Cole Bishop is going to step up, and I think you're going to see a Bishop, Taylor Rapp, and Bishop's going to rotate. He'll probably rotate with, like, Hancock. And let's get into Hancock. So Babbage didn't specifically say where Jordan Hancock was going to play, whether it be nickel cornerback or safety, but he said they have a well-thought-out, articulate, time-sensitive plan for him. Again, a very unique plan for him. And again, not even going to try to speculate. They just have cards that they're going to keep close to their chest. Taron Johnson is a guy you don't have to challenge. He wants to be the best nickel on planet Earth and works that way. Taron Johnson is an animal, and he's just going to continuously get better. When you have guys like Taron Johnson, you have guys like Christian Benford, I am so upset that I'm lacking on... Why am I lacking on him? We're going to get back to that thought. Maybe I won't, because it's embarrassing. I can't remember that guy. Apparently, Bernard and Milano have been playing very well together. When it comes down to it, you're working in a unit. The more consistency that you can have with, and Bernard's the guy I was talking about, That's who I was talking about. Anyway, Bernard and Milano have been working great together. The more consistent that you have with the people you're playing with, the better off you'll be. And they're working really well as a team together. Remember, Milano used to play really, 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 really well with Tremaine Edmonds. And if Bernard can be that connection with Milano like Edmonds was, it's going to open up a lot of doors. All right, so now we're going to get into the offensive coordinator side. Joe Brady also spoke. He spoke about Dalton Kincaid. I feel like he lived here this offseason. That's the only thing I wanted to hear. That's the only thing I wanted to hear. I don't care about the rest of the offense at this point. Dalton Kincaid, I love Dalton Kincaid. I loved him the first season. I was so disappointed last season. I don't think he even played to half of his potential. And honestly, if I'm going to be honest with you, the best thing that could have happened for him is to miss that catch for the first down against the Chiefs. I think it was the best opportunity for him because what I've heard is that he has put on so much pounds, he's put on so much muscle, he is working so hard to make sure that he can be the best player, best tight end. And again, I've read 100 different articles. It all says Dalton Kincaid, this is a boom or bust year, and I agree. And I think he's going to have a great year. I think he is taking that missed catch so badly, which I hate, but I also love because he's going to use that, and he's only going to get better. Joe Brady said, what I love about Josh is his demeanor, approach, and mindset is as impressive as it gets and as infectious around the building. Of course it is. It's Josh Allen. Everybody Eats has nothing to do with production. It's all about selfless mindset and helping and celebrating each other. Matt Collins embraced this. He brought this on. I miss that guy. Everybody Eats is not the production. It's the attitude. It's the, I don't need the ball. If he can get the ball and get the touchdown, that's all that matters. If he can get the first down, that's all that matters. If he can bring us to 2nd and 1, that's all that matters. Don't give him the ball if you know that he can do it. And once he does do it, we celebrate him. And if he can't do it, we still celebrate him. That's the everybody eats mentality. It's not, this is what we're going to do to produce this. No, it's the attitude that you have. You can have, Khalil Shakir can have 200-yard game, and it could still be an everybody eats game. It's about the attitude. And I love it. On what better looks like for an offense that scored 30 points a game. He said it's not about the result first. It's about doing your job better. That will then produce results. Blocking for each other, body language of not getting the ball, etc. I appreciate that answer. Right. How do you get better from 30-point games? How do you do that? A little bit at a time. You find the weakness. A couple questions. I'm going to pause real quick. I don't think anyone can stop Mahomes. Not saying he is good. It's because this stupid NFL and the Chiefs are a whole league itself. Any thoughts on the NFL script theories? That's crazy. I don't have that many thoughts about the NFL script theory. I am not going to believe that's a thing because I don't want to believe that. And I want to believe that it's a fair league. Unfortunately, I think there is no script, but I think that there is leverage that refs have, and I think they have a lot of control. And obviously the league makes money if certain teams are put out there. But again, I think if it's a close game, the refs have a lot of control, but they can't control a blowout. And you saw that in the Super Bowl. Do you think the Bills draft will help the team's confidence or the skill level? 100%. The Bills draft was amazing, and I think there's a team confidence on the team and on the fans. Going into this season, I feel very confident. The skill level, I just think it's going to be way more dominant. I think a lot of the rookies that we picked up are very dominant for being rookies. So appreciate both those questions. He talked about Khalil Shakir. He said, I don't need Khalil to do anything other than be Khalil. And his contract reflects that. He said, Khalil Shakir got a great new contract extension with the team. He just wants him to continue to do his thing. He's not looking for him to do anything more or better. On Elijah Moore and Laviska Shenault, been most impressive with the care for our offense and how we want to do things. Been following Moore's career since they are from the same area. And he wants to diversify Shenault. And I think Chenault's going to make the cut. A lot of people don't think so. I think he will. And I think he's going to be used in so many different areas. Said going through the he did talk about the head coach interview process that he went through with the Saints. He said it was very unique because he was doing it in the playoffs and just needed to be himself. because he was so focused on coaching the Bills. He also said it was a two-way interview. He learned a lot about them, not just them learning about him, which kind of tells me that more like he declined the offer, not like they went in another direction. It's hard to be a good quarterback if you're on your back. That's very true. And that was his response to a question about having a solid offensive line and returning an O-line that is pretty much entirely intact. It's correct. It helps because you know what they can do, but what's the next thing we can do? We know the skill level. We know that Deion Dawkins, Spencer Brown work so well together. That O-line is great. Connor McGovern, we're great. Didn't skip a beat. Very intact. What can they do now? What's the next focus moving forward to make them even better? Because if you have somebody like Josh Allen that you're protecting, you better protect him with your whole body. And you better build a second body because that guy is moving quickly. So not only the ability to protect Josh Allen, but the ability to move with him. When Josh Allen runs out of the pocket, those guys gotta do their best. He talked about the final drive at Kansas City in the conference game. He said, "We want the ball in our hands with the game on the line. I'll take that all day, every day. We didn't get the job done, but that's what we want and what our guys want." That's the most realist answer I could have asked for. He agreed. We had the chance. We didn't do it. Special teams coordinator Chris Tabor then took the stand. Only really thing that he was like that I really got from all that he talked with the media. He was asked about the new NFL changing kickoff rule, and he said you might go from 27 returns to now 75. And he said, I think that's exactly what the league wants. He wants to see more returns. So the league wants to see more returns. They're trying to create an ability to do that. So that is that. So that really wraps up the Buffalo Bills segment. Again, we're going to just kind of drip into the NFL. We have about 6 minutes. I'm not going to keep you guys more or longer, but just kind of gloss over a couple things. The Steelers are visiting with former Bills and Jacksonville Jaguars wide receiver Gabe Davis, who was at Josh Allen's wedding. They met with him today. And also the Steelers renewed conversations with the Dolphins about tight end John U. Smith, who is seeking a new contract. The trade between the Steelers and Dolphins is still alive. So they're still trying to figure out John U. Smith and where he'll be next season. PFF, which is like a power rankings organization platform, they ranked all the CBs and they put the Bills cornerback Christian Benford at 7. I disagree with that. I think he's at least top 5. Aaron Rodgers will not sign with the Saints. He's confirmed that, and he is holding out from a contract due to friends and family members struggling with cancer. But he did hint that if he was going to sign, it'll be with the Steelers. But the future is unknown. He doesn't even know if he's going to play this season. So the Steelers need to then say, okay, Rodgers, we respect that, but we're going to try to find somebody because we can't wait. Because right now, I think their quarterback one is Mason Rudolph, who used to be their backup quarterback. Saquon Barkley is the cover of the Madden 26 video game. So Madden 26 will have Saquon Barkley, and it's him hurdling that Jacksonville Jaguars player. Saddest thing ever is that Jacksonville Jaguars player had to show up for the photo shoot because he's also on the front page, and he showed up and like ran underneath Barkley, and they like reenacted it to like get the perfect shot for the cover, which is, I feel so bad for him. CJ Stroud, in their OTAs, CJ Stroud has not been throwing because of a shoulder injury, which everybody's kind of concerned about, but the head coach said that there are no problems, there's no worries. So take it as you will. I don't know what that means. He might be saving face, but Bengals pass rusher Trey Hendrickson, who still has a year left on his contract, might be holding out because the team cannot agree on a contract extension. Quarterback Sam Darnold is going to be the quarterback one for the Seahawks. There's no competition there. Quarterback J.J. McCarthy is apparently impressing everybody in OTAs for the Vikings, which is really good because the Vikings gave up on picking up Aaron Rodgers, so they have a lot of trust and faith in J.J., and apparently he's been showing up to OTAs and been doing very well. I'm excited to see what he does this season. Wide receiver George Pickens, who used to play for the Steelers, got traded to the Cowboys. He went online and tweeted about these guys need to get off their phones. He tweeted about how he actually forced the Steelers to trade him. Apparently, the Steelers were very happy keeping him, and that he was the one that forced their hand in trading him. That was quickly deleted, so I have no idea what that means, but that's just some news as well. Lastly, Stefon Diggs. Let's talk about this for the last couple minutes. Stefon Diggs, what are you doing? Signs a pretty decent chunk of change contract with the New England Patriots. Going to be their wide receiver 1 this year. And then gets in a relationship with Cardi B, goes on a boat, and has a very inappropriate video on the boat. He skips their OTAs last week, so while everybody else in New England is training for the season, he's on a boat with Cardi B and a bunch of girls. Inappropriate video was put out online, and then also he's standing around 3 women, and he shows them a pink powdered substance, which a lot of people are assuming is drugs. I'm not going to get into that, but he's already creating drama and things off the field. And when their head coach Mike Vrabel was asked about it, he said it's not ideal, and he wants players to be smart about what they're doing on and off the field. Now that's happened in the last couple of days, and then Mike Vrabel was a little more. There were some rumors swirling that there was potential that he could be getting cut, and that sources close to the team were saying that was actually meetings talked about, and there was a very big potential. But he's guaranteed like over $20 million, so that's a lot of money for him to never even touch a blade of grass in New England. So, again, I have a hard time believing that they're going to cut him. He was at OTAs today. He was practicing with the team. He's back, but he's already creating drama for himself, and he's already just doing some stupid stuff. And Mike Vrabel said that there was also other things behind the scenes that the public didn't know about that was also kind of concerning about Stefon Diggs. So hopefully that they can get that all under control. But again, Stefon Diggs is causing drama, and I love to see it because not only is the Bills not involved anymore, but he's now on a team that's in the same division in the AFC East with the Bills. So while one of the teams that is one of our rivals gets to continue to admit to compete against, has to continue to worry about this drama because they signed a 3-year deal with Stefon Diggs, we get to sit back and say, maybe you should have realized we traded him for a reason. But anyway, that is really all I have for tonight. I appreciate everybody that tuned on. I hope you guys all have a great week. Again, we are live every Tuesday, 7 p.m. Make sure that you go down below. Make sure you look us up on any of those platforms. You can hit that link in bio. It'll pull us up on our link tree, and then you can go from there and see us on all of the platforms. Make sure you follow, like, and make sure you turn on bell notifications so that you never miss a post. You never miss when we go live. I appreciate you all. I hope you guys all have a very, very exciting week. I hope that it's nothing but the best for you guys. I hope that we have so much more to talk about next week. I'm very excited again. June 10th, 11th, and 12th next week is going to be mandatory mini camps. We'll see. Will James Cook be there? But anyway, you guys have a great week. Go Bandits, go Sabres, and go Bills.